Wouldn't it be nice if we were older, then we wouldn't have to wait so long?
A classic golden oldie, just like me. Hello there, I'm James, and you're with the Online Radio Training School, and today we're continuing our series in how to use the RadioBOSS automation software. Many people use RadioBOSS to broadcast live on the internet, often using a very simple operation. One microphone plugged into a computer, of course with the RadioBOSS software, and from there broadcasting out onto the internet. But some people say to me, I need to do more than that. I want to do what a radio DJ would normally do in his studio. That is, have more than one microphone. Also to have audio from other sources, for example, a CD player or an MP3 player. They want to be able to take phone calls and put those to air, or in this case, to put them on the internet. And also to be able to mix the microphone with the music in the same way that a DJ or radio announcer would. That's why we've come up with this video, and it's entitled How to Mix on the Internet with RadioBOSS. In this video, we're going to look at how to broadcast live on the internet using one computer, one audio mixer, and of course with the RadioBOSS automation software, but we are going to need version 4.9 or later. Now normally you would think an internet broadcast studio would look like this. There's the computer, the broadcast computer, sending the audio to the mixer, then onto a second computer, which is the streaming machine, and from there out onto the internet. But we're not going to do it that way today. Let me show you what we're going to be doing. First of all, of course, we've got our computer and our mixer in the studio. We have RadioBOSS in the computer, but RadioBOSS is actually made up of two components that are useful for what we're doing today. First of all, there's the player. That's what you see on your screen when you're playing audio. But in the background, there is also a very useful tool, which is the RadioBOSS Internet Encoder. You notice that these are actually quite separate, and I'm going to show you how we can use them separately today. Of course, the player sends the audio to the mixer. First of all, the main, that is the song that you want to play on air or on the internet. And a second audio output, which we call preview. That's where the announcer is able to listen to a song in advance only on his headphones and not play it live to air. But that's not all. To the mixer, we can add other microphones, and also we can add telephone or CD player or MP3 player or any other audio source. Once we have our finished program with the levels how we want it, we can then output that back to the computer. But this time, not to the main player, we're sending it to the RadioBOSS Internet Encoder. And then that is broadcasting it live out onto the internet. So what are we going to need, first of all, to be able to do this? Of course, a computer with RadioBOSS and a mixer, but also we're going to need some audio cables. Let me show you. We're going to need 3 audio cables. On one end, a 3.5 millimeter stereo jack, and at the other end, 2 1/4-inch jacks to go into the mixer. If your mixer uses different plugs, then you may need to make or buy the cable that will suit your needs. Also, we're going to need a USB audio device. Now, this is not an expensive device, but one that you can buy, hopefully, at your local computer store. Now, let's plug all this in. First of all, of course, don't forget to plug your microphone in. Otherwise, none of this is going to work. Then let's do the main out first. Let's plug the 3.5mm jack into the headphone output of your computer. And at the other end, plug the 2 1/4-inch jacks into a stereo channel on your mixer. Don't forget to label everything, label your cables, and of course, very importantly, label the channel on your mixer. Now let's do the preview output from the computer to the mixer. Let's take our USB device and plug that into a USB plug on the computer. First, make sure that the computer sees it and recognizes it. And then plug the 3.5 stereo jack of the next cable into the back of the USB device. Of course, if you're using a different type of USB device, you'll need to get the cables that suit your situation. And at the other end, of course, plug into a different stereo channel on your mixer. Of course, again, let me say it to you one more time, it's very important. Label the channels of your mixer. We've now plugged our cables in, but that's not all. We also need to make the changes inside the RadioBOSS software as well. Come with me into RadioBOSS. The settings menu, of course, the yellow cogwheel. Click on that. Down the left-hand side, choose Playback. And under Playback, you see Main. Let's set up the main first. Of course, because we plugged into the headphone output on the computer, so I go Direct Sound and I choose Headphone Out. Okay. Now we need to set up our preview device. Again, change here, and I do believe it was the generic USB audio device. Click on that, and OK to get out of there. We have now set up our audio outputs from the computer to the mixer. Let's quickly give them a try and make sure that they work okay. First of all, the main. That's working. Let's make sure that the pre-listen channel is working as well. All right, so that's all working fine. Now we need to set up the output from the mixer back into the computer. Let's get this final audio cable, plug it into the main out of your mixer, and then take the other end, the 3.5mm stereo jack, and plug that back into the microphone input or the microphone plug of your computer. But just like last time, we are not only plugging in the cables, we need to make the changes inside RadioBOSS as well. Come with me again to the RadioBOSS screen. Again, the settings cogwheel. This time we go down to Input. Come down with me. You'll see here it says Input 1. Change. I always use direct sound, by the way. And I'm going to choose microphone high definition audio device. That is the mic in on my computer. Click OK and OK. That will all be working. However, there's one more change that we need to make in order to do what we initially set out to do with that diagram at the beginning of the video. Come with me to Settings. come down to Broadcast. Click on that. And in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a small drop-box menu. Audio Mix. Now that is what RadioBOSS is playing, and you click on that if you want RadioBOSS just to broadcast direct live to air. But in this video, that's not what we're doing. You recall we chose Input 1. Click and OK. So now we should be able to play audio from RadioBOSS and mix that live with the audio from my microphone. They say the proof is in the pudding. Let's give this a try. First of all, I'm going to play a song. And I pull down the volume and talk over the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let's hear it here. Volume and talk over the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A few seconds delayed, but what you just heard is what we did here in the studio a few seconds ago. So my friend, that is how we do it. That is how we mix live and broadcast on the internet using the RadioBOSS software. Of course, if any of this was a bit quick or a bit confusing, of course, use that wonderful scrubber function, go back and watch it again, watch it as many times as you like, and use that fantastic pause button. And I hope that this all makes sense. Of course, you can always comment on this video or email us as well. I'll catch you again in our next video with the Online Radio Training School. Till next time, as usual, happy broadcasting.